Hello everyone, Smriti again, TGT Science from SN International School, and the topic that we're taking up today is nutrition in animals. Well, you all have learned about autotrophs, you have learned about heterotrophs, you've learned about producers, herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous. But here comes one more topic, that is holozoic. Now what is holozoic? Holos means whole and zoic means animal. Therefore, the property of an animal of taking in food as a whole is known as holozoic mode of nutrition. Here, holozoic mode of nutrition consists of basic 5 points. Number 1, ingestion. Now, ingestion here means taking in food. As you've heard of the word, no, injection. What is injection? Injecting something. Similarly, ingestion means taking in of food by the organism. Next is digestion. As the organism takes in the food is now broken down into simpler soluble form so that it can be utilized by the body. So the process into which the food is broken down into simpler soluble form is known as digestion. Next is absorption. Now the nutrients of the food, when they are broken down into simple soluble form, they are now digested and thus they are now absorbed by the body cells. Next comes assimilation. Assimilation is utilization of these nutrients by the body as well as body cells. And last is egestion. Egestion means throwing out of the waste. All the food that one has consumed, once that food is digested, it's been absorbed, it's even assimilated, now it's a time to throw away the raw particles or the rough particles outside the body. So that's how the waste goes out of the body. Also, when we're talking about holozoic mode of nutrition, let's discuss about some of the organisms who feed on or who take this holozoic mode of nutrition. Let's learn about some common examples. Let's say amoeba. So how does an amoeba take in food? Well, the process by which amoeba obtains its food or takes in food is known as phagocytosis. Now, what is phagocytosis? Amoeba has certain projections on its body, like on the outer part of its body, which are known as pseudopodia. Now, with the help of these pseudopodia, amoeba makes a food vacuole, that is a cup-like structure. As amoeba makes that cup-like structure, it moves near the food particle goes inside the cup-like structure or the food vacuole. As the food vacuole goes inside the cup-like structure, it merges, or you can say it fuses with amoeba's body. It goes inside, it gets digested, and then again amoeba makes the food like the food vacuole, the cup-like structure, and from this cup-like structure, the egestion, that means the waste part of the body, is excreted out. So the same procedure is even adopted by organisms such as paramecium. Just in case amoeba has pseudopodia, similarly paramecium, they make use of cilia, which are the same hair-like structures present on the outer body of paramecium. Then if we talk about hydra again one of the same kind of organism, a multicellular organism. Even hydra consists of tentacles with the help of which it somersaults. As you remember, we learnt about somersaulting, that is movement. So similarly, hydra, with the help of its tentacles, it helps hydra to obtain its food. Similarly, certain other organisms like a frog, it uses its long sticky tongue to catch the food, catch its prey, and obtain it as its nutrition. When we talk of some organisms like bees or butterflies, they have long sucking tubes, and that's called proboscis, and that's how they obtain their nutrition. Alright, so let's discuss now about the human digestive system. When we discuss of human digestive system consists of a long alimentary canal, which is also known as food canal. The alimentary canal starts right from the mouth, from where the digestion starts as we take in food, and from the mouth it goes whole down the body and finishes at the anus, or you can say it goes on till the anus. It is around 30 feet long and it's coiled around the body. Now next, talking about mouth, like from where and how the digestion process starts. Digestion starts as soon as food is kept in your mouth. As you inject the food inside your mouth, this whole space inside your mouth, as in as you open your mouth and as you may see this hollow space inside your mouth, it's known as buccal cavity. Of course, it's a cavity. What is a cavity? Cavity is a hole, right? A space inside. So therefore, this is known as buccal cavity. So as you put the food inside the buccal cavity, digestion straight away starts there. But before we study more about how digestion starts there, I would like to continue first on the kinds of teeth we have. Now, as we keep the food inside, with the help of our teeth, we start chewing the food. As we chew and we grind the food, that process, that means physically breaking down of food, is known as mastication. Now, when food is masticated, with how many teeth and what all teeth are there in your mouth which were utilized for mastication? They are, number one, incisors. Incisors are the front blunt and the front teeth, which are straight and blunt. They are actually your incisors. They are used for cutting the food. Next comes at the sides of incisors, they are your canines. They're sharp and they are basically used for tearing the flesh or tearing the food. Next comes a set of teeth which are here, and they're called molars and premolars. Molars and premolars, they help basically in chewing and grinding the food, and also there are two pairs of teeth which comes up only after the age of 18, and they are called wisdom teeth. So well, we've discussed about the kinds of teeth we have, but yes, the formation of teeth, or you can say when teeth comes out of an infant, let's discuss about that. Well, teeth are of two types. One are deciduous teeth or milk teeth, which you call, or primary teeth, and other are permanent teeth. Well, when we talk of milk teeth or deciduous teeth or primary teeth, they are actually the teeth which are grown out of infants, and they start shedding off at the age of 6 or 7, and they keep on shedding until the age of 12. They are 22 in number. Well, when we talk of permanent teeth, they are 32 in number. Next, let's discuss about how food is broken down inside the mouth. Okay, let's start with how food starts breaking down. Okay, so as soon as we put the food inside our mouth, or we call buccal cavity, as the food goes inside the buccal cavity, our mouth consists of certain glands which are salivary glands. Salivary glands, they produce saliva. Saliva consists of many enzymes, and the most important out of those being amylase. Now, this amylase is one of the enzymes which helps in the breakdown of complex molecules such as starch. As you all know that sugar and starch are two carbohydrates, sugar being a simpler one, simpler because it can get digested easily, and starch being a complex one because it takes time to get digested. So now, amylase being one of the enzymes present in saliva helps in the breakdown of starch. After it is broken down, the food now passes down. As the food passes down, it's known as bolus now. I mean, it's a thick ball of food, chewed up food, grinded, chewed up food, which consists of saliva all over, which the tongue helped in mixing all with. That whole part of food will be known as now bolus. Now, this bolus goes inside, and first it goes through or passes through pharynx. Next, it passes through larynx. Now, after this, larynx is also known as the voice box. After this, it passes on further, and now it goes into the food pipe, which is also known as esophagus. Now, between the food pipe and your windpipe, both go hand in hand. Now, food wall or flap-like structure is known as epiglottis. Now, when talking about esophagus, as the food moves inside esophagus, there takes peristalsis. Now, what is peristalsis? Peristalsis is as soon as the food goes inside the food pipe, a relaxation and a contraction movement takes place. Like as the food goes down, it's like relaxes and contracts, relaxes and contracts, and that's how the food goes inside the food pipe. And that's what peristalsis is. After or from the food pipe, the food now passes into our stomach. Our stomach is a J-shaped organ which is muscular. It's very flexible and it keeps on changing its shape. It increases its surface area as soon as the food reaches it. Stomach also consists of many digestive enzymes, many digestive juices actually, and these digestive juices consist of enzymes as well as acid, that is hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is used for killing off any bacteria that goes through our food inside our body, whereas when we talk of enzymes, they are actually enzymes which are used to break down complex molecules, even proteins. There's an enzyme which is called pepsin, and pepsin enzyme is used to break down protein into peptides. Now the food is ready to pass on to your small intestine, and before the food passes on to the small intestine, it's now known as chyme. Alright, so now as the food passes on to small intestine, always remember small intestine is divided into three main parts, which are called duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Well, you learn about all the three parts in your further lessons very clearly, but before that, let's learn more about what happens in the small intestine. As the chyme, I told you, as the word chyme, that is the food which is now digested from the stomach and now it's is being passed on to small intestine. Now this chyme, it goes into the small intestine, and in the small intestine, secretions from two more glands, they act upon that food. Those two glands are pancreas and your liver. When we talk of both, liver produces bile juice, and bile juice helps in breaking down fats into tiny droplets so that it can be digested easily. Whereas when we talk of pancreas, pancreas secrete pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice helps in the breakdown of starch as well as fats. Now, also in the small intestine, children, we have small projections which are called villi. Now, these villi, or singular as you call villus, these villi are actually made up of blood vessels. So as soon as the food, the digested food, passes through the small intestine, it gets absorbed by the villi, and from villi it gets absorbed into the blood vessels, and from the blood vessels finally into the blood cells, thus providing your blood cells the nutrition it requires. That's how digestion takes place. And now talking about, and this is even assimilation, utilization of the food by the body cells. So that's how assimilation took place. Talking about large intestine, what is the work of large intestine? Well, large intestine helps in absorbing much of water. Talking about the last topic of this chapter, which is digestion in ruminants. Now, ruminants are grass-eating animals. How does the digestion takes place in ruminants? Well, always remember, ruminants, the kind of food they eat, the similar kind of digestion process they have. Like we humans, we have a simpler digestion process as compared to these grass-eating animals, because what they eat, they require different structure of inside their body. They need different organs, different whole mechanism to digest that kind of food. As you all know, ruminants, they are grass-eating animals, and grass-eating animals generally eat grass, of course. And as they eat grass, this grass consists mainly of cellulose, which takes a longer time to be digested by the body. Now, ruminant has a four-chambered stomach. This four-chambered stomach are named as rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomasum. Let's study how this passes on from one another and how it gets digested. Food first goes into rumen, that is the first chamber of the stomach. As the food passes and goes on to the rumen, the first chamber of a ruminant's stomach, in the rumen consists of a lot of bacteria and protozoa, which helps in the breakdown of cellulose. After this, the food is passed on to the second chamber, which is reticulum. In the reticulum, it consists of a honeycomb-like structure. Now, I'll tell you its function later. First, understand that in reticulum, the food changes into cud, a whitish substance. Remember, I'm not saying C-U-R-D as majority children gets confused in this. It's C-U-D. That means the grass and everything which the ruminant ate, it changes into that whitish substance which you must have seen buffaloes or some relatable organisms, relatable animals chewing in their leisure time. Now, why that happens? As the food passes on to reticulum changes the food into cud, and now because of that honeycomb, and because of that honeycomb-like structure present in their body, the cud is now taken back to the mouth, and then whenever this buffalo or any such organism, any such ruminant has its own leisure time, it chews that cud for more of digestion. As it's chewed, it's again swallowed and it's sent back, passing from rumen, reticulum, it now passes to the third chamber, which is omasum. Omasum, usually it acts like a large intestine in humans. Omasum helps in digestion of or absorption of the excess of water from the cud. Now, this remaining card finally passes on to the last chamber, which is abomasum. And abomasum is actually the real stomach of ruminant. It consists of a lot of digestive enzymes, and thus the whole digestion process in a ruminant takes place. Hope the chapter was clear. If you have any doubt, you can write your comments in the comment section, and also in the class you can ask me during the lecture. Thank you.